Welcome to Anything Ghost. I'm Lex Wall, and this is a place to be to hear people's personal paranormal experiences. If you have one to share, send it to lex@anythingghost.com. Okay, the next one we have is from Avid, and she's sent in a few things for us before. And I think I know on Haunted New Jersey they played her EVP this week. So you want to go check that out, their latest one. I think it's number 38, their 38th podcast. But she left a message on the bulletin board, anythingghost.com website bulletin board, and I'll just read what she wrote. About 2 weeks ago, I tried recording EVP for the first time. I think it was September 3rd, and I was very hesitant to try, as I was afraid it might make whatever was in my house more active. About a week or two before then, I had talked about it but decided against it and got activity anyway. Mostly a chair moving unexplainably, a light mysteriously turning off, and a door opening and closing on its own. I live with my grandparents on my mother's side. They are both alive and well. I was trying to communicate with my grandparents on my father's side, who both have passed on. I didn't have any odd happening while recording, other than the fan on my laptop rev up. That's normal. The timing was odd, and I didn't touch my laptop during the session, other than to start and stop the recording. While listening to the EVP session, I smelled an aroma I associated with my grandfather. I know it sounds weird, but some people have smells associated with them, like if someone wears a certain perfume, or if someone smokes a cigar, and then they take on that odor. At first I thought it was my imagination, and I tried to ignore it. After a few minutes, it became overpowering, so I stopped listening to the EVP and walked into the kitchen. The smell wasn't out there, but when I came back to my doorway, the smell was still there. I sprayed my perfume all over the room and down the hallway. I didn't get back to listening to the recording until Monday night. A few minutes after I started listening, the scent came back again. It didn't get as overpowering as before, but the timing was very odd. I don't know what caused it. If I were to make a guess, I'd say my grandfather wanted to see if the EVP worked too. When I went to fall asleep that night, I felt a light pressure on my chest, like someone resting their head on the middle of my ribcage. I turned on the light and sat up, and the sensation was gone. When I laid back down again, the pressure returned. I have had this happen to me one other time, several months ago. I'm really not sure how to explain it. I tried recording the EVP session with the TV on in my grandpa's room, and the living room, both were on mute. I thought that perhaps somehow they might add extra energy to the air. Not sure. I can't give more of a logical explanation, it's just a feeling I have. Now the television is doing strange things. It will randomly change stations. It never did that before. This past Saturday I spent the night at my mother's house. When I came home from the following evening, my grandfather told me about it happening to him. He said he was watching television when it changed channels. So he changed it back. The TV changed it to a different station again. He thought I was playing a trick on him from another room, so he called out to me, but I had left hours ago for my mother's. Then a few nights ago, I witnessed it happen myself. It was not as though the up or down arrow were being pressed. It was as though the individual numbers were being pressed. I saw the numbers being entered in 116. The television turned to channel 116. I asked my grandfather about when it happened before, if it was always the same station, and he said it was always different, always a random station. I don't know how to explain it. It never did that before, and there was no one in the room touching the remote control when this happened. The file, the MP3, is clearer in its native Audacity format than it is in Winamp MP3 or WAV format. Garrett and Brent played them on their Haunted New Jersey show. They were having some trouble with the playback in the studio. I've been trying to find the best place to put these, plus any future ones, to share, as I really don't have media of this sort to warrant a site. There might be more than the ones I found, but I didn't want to sit through it again, as I'm worried the scent might come back. It is very strange and creeps me out. And then, this activity furthers my theory it is an entity, not a poltergeist, as poltergeist is really a living person's subconscious doing things from my understanding. If there were a poltergeist agent, logically it would be me, as most things have happened to me, and while I'm the only one home. but several things have happened while I wasn't there. One of them is a child ghost. I'm not sure if I have one ghost taking on different appearances, or if I have multiple ghosts in my home. But whenever I see the child ghost, about 3 times since I've lived there, it is always outside. I thought it was a girl, my sister, who told me she has seen it once, though not at the same time as I did, thought it was a boy. But it was always outside. A few years ago, there was a really bad storm, and after a large bolt of lightning hit near the house, the doorbell went wild. It kept going off until I opened the front door. No one was there. We knew it was the front door as it was hooked up to a different system than the back door, and it plays a song while the back door just dings. A few months after that, my grandfather was home with me during another storm, and the doorbell went wild again. So he went over and opened the door, no one there. This past year while I was at work, there was a very bad storm. When I went home, my grandparents told me that while it had been storming, the doorbell for the front door went off. And this time it played a song that had never been played before. It kept playing until my grandfather went over to open the door. As soon as he opened the doorbell stopped. When he rang the doorbell, it played the song it always does. My stepmom said she thought there was a problem with the wiring. But here's the kicker. The doorbell is battery operated. There is no wiring. I think it's kind of funny that we have a ghost afraid of thunderstorms. Okay, so that was from Avid.